public with that story?
I thought it was the end of my life. I believed that everything, I was 53 when my story became public, and I believed that no one would ever look at me the same way again, that all the success that I had was gone, that no one would let their son marry my daughter. I was just filled with shame. Of all the things that I want to do, taking away the shame is the most significant for me. I felt the shame. It was not mine to feel, but I felt it for 53 years.
And you said you finally came to terms with your past after you went into therapy. What convinced you to seek counseling, and how long did it take before you finally let go of the guilt?
I didn't go into therapy until I was 40, and the only reason I did was because I was going into physical paralysis and the doctors couldn't find any cause. And I went from doctor to doctor, from hospital to hospital, and finally they said, we cannot find it. We suggest you see a psychiatrist. And so I was 40 when I went into therapy, and I was in therapy for 6 years. From 45 to 51, I could barely dress myself, and at 51, I was free.
Wow. You're now traveling the country, speaking to groups on a subject of darkness into light. What are you taking away from the audiences?
I always ask survivors to stand and to feel the tension in the room when people know that I'm going to do that. It just, all of a sudden, there's just this hush in the room as I ask survivors to stand. And for me, the power of that moment is, if it is this hard for adults to stand, then we can understand why children don't tell. It's all about children. We need to find a way to protect the children. And that means that as adults, we need to come forward and talk about it openly so that children have role models. So I go around and try to role model to have other adults come forward. Tonight, one woman said, "My husband left the room. He does not know I stood. Tonight, I'm going to have to tell my husband." Now, that's a very powerful moment. She's scared, but he doesn't know her. So tonight, hopefully, she'll go home and have a long conversation with her husband.
Now we have time for just about one last question. What would you say to anyone watching who may be a victim of sexual abuse?
Take the risk and talk about it. Try to find the safest person that you know and be willing to share it. It's the secret and the shame that keep us shackled. Once we let go of the secret, once we let go of the shame, we're free.
Well, thank you very much for, one, sharing your story, and two, for having the time to share with us here today. Coming up on